Hi everybody, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I'm here today with the design team post from Scrapping for Less. Today I'm going to be making a twisted gatefold card using the products from the March 2020 Flavor of the Month card kit. And I'm going to start out with doing some Distress Oxide blending with the butterfly stencil that was part of the banana split level. I love when you use just a couple colors and come up with so many, and with the Distress Oxide blending it makes it so easy. So I was only using the fossilized amber, the peacock feathers, and the picked raspberry, and I got the purple because of the blue and the pink, and I got the orange because of the yellow and the pink. So I think that's a lot of fun. Like I said, I just love when it comes up with all those different colors when you're making it. And I'm going to be using these backgrounds as the decorating pattern, kind of the pattern paper that's going to be on this twisted gatefold card. Now I saw this on a video from Mixed Up Crafts, and I watched quite a few different ones, and they have all different sizes and different ways you can make them. This one ends up being like a 5x7 card, and it'll fit in a 5x7 envelope nicely. So that's the one that I took probably the most out of. Now I'm going to use the Live Simply stamp and use the Your Next Stamp Sunflower ink pad that I got in a previous kit to do that, and that matches really well with those Distress Oxides. Then I'm going to get into some of the measurements, but the first one I'm going to start with is a 9x6. That's what you're going to need in order to make the card itself. And that one is the main piece to make everything. The rest of it is going to be kind of what you want to do and how you want to decorate it. And as we're decorating it, I'll give you more of those measurements on there. So you're going to take your 9x6 piece and score it at 3 inches and at 6 inches on the long side. And then you want to score diagonally, but the diagonal lines have to go from corner to the first score line, and then corner, or actually it's from the first score line to the corner, and then from the corner to the second score line. And you're going to go in the same direction, so whether you need to flip your card over or how you're going to do it, but you want to make sure that the lines are going in the same direction, and that's what's going to give it that twist fold when you fold them. Now some people don't like to do diagonal lines on the scoreboard, so if you like to do it better, just take a ruler and make sure that you get a nice fold line on there. You're going to fold it at the 3 inches, and then you're going to fold the 6-inch side inward, just like the card, and then you're going to fold those two diagonal lines out. So that's it, like I said. So the folding for this card is very simple. That's all you got to do to make the card, and it's done. The rest of this is about the decorating, and that's where I had my issues, and most of it's because I didn't pay attention. Now the center piece for the middle is going to be 2 3/4 by 5/8 of an inch. And then the mat for the top two panels, so those top two corners, is going to be 2 5/8 by 5 3/8, and you're going to cut that diagonally. Now if you're using plain paper, that doesn't matter. But if you're using pattern paper, you want to make sure that it's going in the direction that you want it to go to when the card is closed. And then you're going to cut that piece diagonally long ways. And one suggestion I give you is to, if you're using a cutting board, is to make sure that you use or put the cutting, the cutter, the sharp part, whatever it's called, in the center, and then cut each side, because then that'll make sure that your corners don't like bunch up and stuff. And then the back mat is going to be the same as the mat on top, so that's 2 5/8 inches and 5 3/8. But if you cut these wrong and you have a pattern on them, they're not going to be in the right directions. So you'll see when I'm making this in this particular one, I put it all on, I made sure I cut it in the right direction, and then when I stamped the sentiment on the inside, it was upside down. And it's still upside down because this was the third time that I did this card and and I had to redo the ink Distress Oxide blending each time I screwed it up, and I just kept having to do it over and over again. So on the top panels, you're going to put the mat and then that smaller piece when you cut it in half, and that smaller piece is 2/4 of an inch by 4 3/4 of an inch. So you have the 2 mats for the back and the top panels, and that's 2 5/8 inches by 5 3/8, and you have 2 of those, and then, like I said, the middle piece. Now this is going to be for a rosette, and if you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. I decided I thought it was going to give it more stability and help to keep the card closed better, which is why I did it. You cut a 11-inch by 1-inch piece of paper, and then you're going to score it at 1/4 of an inch all the way through. Now you're going to start off with a mountain fold and go all the way to a valley fold, and if you end up with 2 mountain folds, just cut that last 1/4 of an inch off, and that's what you see me do just right there. Then I'm going to take that Live Simply and I'm going to actually put that on top of it, but I do end up cutting out 2 little pieces just to hold the rosette in place so that I could get the other that Live Simply stamp right on there. And for that particular one, it fits perfectly with that stamp, so it's exactly the right size. So you're going to see me here screw up this also, but because this was the 3rd time that I had now done this card and I kept screwing it up, I was not redoing it after you see me screw this up. Twice you're going to see me screw it up because, like I said, I ended up doing it upside down, but also in this one I already had the center down and I was going to stamp it. My sentiment is crooked, and then I was like, you know what, I can live with that. It's not that bad. It's just a little off center more so than it was crooked. I was like, I'm okay. I'm moving on from this. So then I stamp this butterfly and I stamp it upside down. And there I'm just sitting there looking at it like, did I just really, yeah, I can't. So I end up cutting another piece down, and that piece I cut to 2 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and it fit perfectly over that mat. And I was like, cool, perfect. Like, I don't even have to worry about this. Just make sure you get it straight this time, right? Yeah, except for, as you can see there, my butterflies are upside down. So even though I did stamp everything in the right direction this time, my pattern is still upside down. But I figured because it was butterflies, I was just, like I said, I was really kind of done with this card after making it so many times. I love the card though. That's the thing that kills me. I love the Distress Oxide blending. I loved how it looked at the end. I loved everything about the card except making the card. So the folding is not hard. The cutting all of the pieces is not hard. Just make sure if you're using pattern paper, it's in the right direction, and then you stamp it in the right direction for the sentiment. Because I really think the card is simple otherwise. It's just making sure that you are paying attention, and obviously I wasn't, and you would think after the 2nd time I would have really made sure I was, but no, I wasn't. I just kept myself right on going. So after I put that together, I just like I said, I glued the rosette onto, or I glued the Live Simply onto the rosette, and then I glued it onto the top. Now you do want to make sure again that you're not putting too much glue on it, only the one side of it, because otherwise you'll glue your card together. And then what I also did was I messed up the sentiment a little bit. I pressed too hard and I had a couple of things. That's with the white gel pen. That's a good tip to kind of cover up a mistake if you have one with ink, is just to use a white gel pen if it's on white paper to cover that up, and unless you're really looking at it, you can't see it. Then I used my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen and I colored every one of those butterflies with the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, because you cannot have butterflies without having sparkle. And one thing to make sure, especially when you're using Distress Oxides, because they react to alcohol, they react to water and all of that, that you start off with the lighter colors, go to the darker colors, and then before you go back to a light color, make sure you just wipe off the sparkle pen a little bit just to get that excess color off, because otherwise you're going to put that darker color into your lighter color. So that's it. That is the card, and like I said, although it drove me crazy trying to get it together, I do love how it came out. I love the colors. I love the style of it. So thanks for joining me. I hope everybody is staying healthy and safe, and make sure you check out these videos and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Have a great day.